everybody. We're going to start our labs in my home kitchen. This is a little new to me and I know it's new to you, so let's just bear with us, especially for the first time. First of all, I want you guys to know I miss you so much. And what I want to do today though, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to review, so go back into your minds at the very beginning of class, our very first lab that we did. So if you'll remember, and it goes right along with what's happening today, is we did our hand washing lab. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some oil, put it on my hands. I'm going to rub it in. This is the oil, natural oil, that is found on your skin. And now I'm going to take some germs. They're not real germs, it's just cinnamon. And I'm going to put this on my hand. And I'm going to rub the germs into my hands. Now, I have seen people, none of y'all of course, but I've seen people when they wash their hands, and this is your germs on your hands from constant touching. I've seen people do this, and walk out. How well did they do? Almost, they might as well not have even stopped by the sink. Well, we're going to use some cold water. I'm going to wash my hands with a little bit of hand soap for approximately 15 seconds. That helped, but I still see a lot of germs. So now what I'm going to do, put just a tad bit more, put it to warm water. Alexa, start timer for 20 seconds.
It's unplugged.
So now, as you can see, I'm germ-free. So what I'm going to do is take a paper towel and try not to throw things on the floor. I'm not going to pick that up right now because I'm going to have to rewash my hands. And that way I can throw the paper towel in the garbage can so I don't have to worry about getting germs back on me. Now, what we're going to do today for our first lab is we're going to make strawberry jam. If most of you guys will remember, I told you that that's what we were going to do. There's a couple of reasons why I like to do strawberry jam at this time of year. I always do it after the Strawberry Festival because that's number one, when strawberries are at their peak. So they're the ripest, they're the sweetest, and they're the largest. Not to mention the fact that after the Strawberry Festival, they are the cheapest. So we're going to make some strawberry jam. The first thing you do is you wash your containers. I've already washed the containers to save time. Notice that I'm using plastic containers. The reason that we're doing that is we're going to go with the strawberry jam and we're going to do the freezer kind. So if you wanted to make enough, which I will be doing today, so if you wanted to make enough, you can either put it in the refrigerator or you can put it in the freezer. It stays in the refrigerator for up to 3 weeks, stays in the freezer for a year. So you can have delicious, fresh strawberry jam all year long. The next thing we do is we wash our strawberries, which I've already washed these. And now we need approximately 2 cups of strawberries. Now, where do you get your recipe? Where you get your recipe is from the Sure Gel. What Sure Gel is it is pectin. And what the pectin does, acid plus pectin equals cement. And what that does is it causes your jam to actually gel. The great thing about the Sure Gel recipe, they have the cooked jam on one side, and then they have the quick and easy jam, freezer jam on the other side. You don't even have to figure out what fruit has acid and what doesn't, because if it doesn't have acid, then you have to put more pectin and more, or you have to add acid to it. For instance, apricots do not have any acid, so it tells you in the ingredients that you would have to add some lemon juice to it. Fortunately, strawberries don't. They're at the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 4 cups of strawberries. We're going to remove and discard the stems. So let me get a garbage bowl for the stems. And some of this I've already prepared ahead for you guys. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the strawberries and I'm going to put them in a chopper. Remember, these have already been washed. You always want to make sure you wash your produce. The great thing about strawberries right now is you can get those at Publix, which is where I went shopping today. Normally I would get them at Sam's, but I'm really not wanting to go all the way to Sam's right now since we're supposed to be staying inside. I went to Publix. Publix has tons of this fresh strawberries and they have them on sale. 2 quarts for $5, and about 2 quarts will make 2 batches. Now instead of chopping these super tiny, I'm going to use my handy dandy chopper. Just in a couple of seconds, it's been chopped. So I have 2 cups of strawberries. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put in 4 cups of sugar. Now I know this is a liquid measuring cup, and sugar we use in a dry measuring cup. I did use the dry measuring cup to measure. I just wanted something so that was easy that you guys could see. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take all of this sugar, which is 4 cups of sugar. Oops. And I probably should have got a bigger bowl. Actually, let's do that so we don't make a major mess. Let me wash out this bowl real quick. I'm going to now, it is a lot of sugar, I agree. However, I hate to tell y'all this, but your jelly, your syrups, all of those kind of things are pretty much nothing but fruit and sugar. And that's a really great thing about this. We're going to stir the sugar into the chopped strawberries. And as we stir, you'll see that it gets all mixed in here. So you want to keep stirring until you don't really see any white sugar anymore. And then we're going to let it sit for 10 minutes. This has already been sitting for almost 10 minutes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take 3/4 of a cup of water. And remember, when you're measuring, you measure at eye level to make sure you have exactly 3/4. Now guys, this is the thing about jam is a science. And if it's not done exactly right, if your measurements are off, it can totally mess up your entire batch. So we're gonna use our Sure-Jell. I will have to say this. Have I or any of my students in the past ever messed up a batch? There have been some that the Sure-Jell did not. It wasn't gelled all the way. It was a little bit runny, but you can still use that for syrup and that type of deal, almost like a strawberry syrup. So we're going to stir our Sure-Jell, which is our pectin. Now, I remember when I was your age, my grandparents, they grew vegetables. And we used to go, I don't know how many of y'all have been strawberry picking in Plant City, but I've done my share of that. Now, the great thing about, like I mentioned before, is 2 quarts of strawberries will pretty much get you about 2 batches. You need 1 thing of Sure-Jell for each batch that you're doing. Once your Sure-Jell comes to a boil, you're going to let it boil, a rolling boil, which means there's quite a few bubbles on it, and you're going to let it cook or boil for 1 minute. Kenzie, can you time me for 1 minute when I tell you? Okay. My camera person's here helping me out. And guys, here's the thing, 2 packs, so 2 packs for $5. And the one thing I will say is when you go to Publix, they may be out of canned food and milk and eggs and other things like that. The one thing they're not short of is produce. For some reason, people aren't stocking up on produce. So this is a great time, especially while it's on sale, and they have a ton of it that you can stock up your freezer with, you can stock up your freezer with some wonderful strawberry jam. Now, one of the things that I did want to tell you is the difference between jam and jelly is jam has pieces of fruit in it. Jelly, like if you have grape jelly, that is the juice from the fruit. So jam has pieces of fruit and jelly is clear and see-through. So I'm going to continue stirring this for a minute. Now we're making the jam because we do have our little pieces of fruit in there and it tastes, guys, one thing I'm going to have to say about this, a lot of people are scared of the jamming thing, and it is so simple and so easy and so inexpensive to do. I've even got, when I start putting it in containers, now these containers I got from Walmart. I got from Walmart and Publix. All right, so the pectin's done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it over my strawberries and sugar. And I'm going to real quick take this over to the sink because I want to put some water in here so that that doesn't gel into my pan and it's not as hard to clean. Now, and then I did time it for 30 minutes.
Starting now?
Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is for 3 minutes, I'm going to take the pectin mixture and the strawberries and sugar mixture, and I'm just going to stir it for 3 minutes. My handy dandy camera person is timing it for me. Now, if you were to look, the great thing is you don't have to have the recipe's in the Sure-Jell. If you knew you needed to know how much sugar or you needed to know how much water or strawberries you were going to need, you would have to get this out of the box of the Sure-Jell. But you can make apple jelly, grape jelly, grapefruit jelly, I don't think so, hot pepper jelly.
We should make some grapefruit jelly.
For jam, you can make strawberry, blueberry, raspberry. Now, one of the reasons I like to do the freezer jam, number one, is because it's nice and quick and easy. But in the canning, which my grandmother used to do a lot of, and I was so excited, my grandmother every summer would go to Georgia to visit her family. And when she would do that, she would always bring back peaches, and her family loved to can. And they would can tomatoes, put them in the jar, and we would just put them in the pantry. And she would do pickled peaches, and they were so good. Oh my gosh, they were so good. And you have never had, I don't know if it's just a Southern thing, or if you've ever had tomato gravy and rice, but when you use fresh canned tomatoes, it makes the best tomato gravy and rice. It is so good. All right, so we're gonna keep doing this, and then once we get through. Now, if you can't get these, to be honest with you, I didn't see them at Walmart or Publix. I saw the glass jars. And the reason you can't use glass jars is if you're putting them in the freezer, not the refrigerator, but if you're putting them in the freezer, the liquid will expand and it will cause the glass to blow. So you have to have them in a plastic container. Now it doesn't have to be this particular container, and you'll notice that there's a couple of different sizes that I have. A larger size, a smaller size, but you can also, most everybody has these in their cabinet. You can just put them in a plastic bowl that has the plastic top to it. As long as it's plastic, you just want to make sure that you're not putting it in the glass and sticking it in the freezer. Is it 3 minutes up yet?
20 seconds.
Okay. So this is looking good. It's smelling good. Smells just like fresh strawberries. And that's a great thing about this is even if you put it, it can stay, like I mentioned before, in the freezer for up to a year. You thaw it out in the refrigerator. And when you open it after it's been in the freezer for a year, what happens is it tastes just like fresh strawberries, like you just went and picked them. So our 3 minutes is up. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to fill this up, and I'm actually going to use one of these to do it a little bit faster. So we're filling, this is the big one. And you make sure, remember I told you don't put it in the freezer. You need to leave at least some room for it to expand so that it doesn't pop the top off. And I'll even show you that I'm going to put some of this in one of these. So it doesn't have to be, you can probably, like I said, find this in your cabinet. We'll put this. And then I'm going to take, now if you had a ladle, that would be good too, that you could use. So I'm also going to take this over to the sink because to make cleaning a little bit easier, I'm going to just throw some water in here and let it go. Then you're going to put the tops on lightly. Now this will make 5 small batches or 2 large batches in a small batch. And then what you do is you're gonna sit it out on the counter and you're gonna let it sit for 24 hours. And then you either put it in the refrigerator, and it, like I said, it can stay in the refrigerator for up to 3 weeks, or you can put it in your freezer and take out whenever you want. I've already done some, and this is the real test. If you take this and you turn it upside down, it means it's gelled and you did it properly. The science, you measured all your ingredients properly and it's not going to come out. I can tell you, even if you use a plastic container like you would have at home, I'm just going to take this, again, turn it upside down, and nothing's going to come out. Once it sits, and that cement with that natural acid in the strawberries, they combine. So the great thing about this, and this is what I know you guys are missing, and I hope to be able to share this with you when we get back to school, is these are some of the things that you can do with it. You can have it on toast, make strawberry toast. This is a peanut butter and strawberry sandwich. I didn't put the top on it so you could see. For appetizers, you can have a dollop of cream cheese, the strawberry jam on Ritz, and it's delish. And this is melted just a little bit, but this is vanilla ice cream with some strawberry in, and makes a wonderful strawberry syrup for if you wanted a strawberry sundae. So there's all kinds of things that you can do with this. Now, your assignment for the day is you're going to need to, just like we do in any lab, is you're going to write the recipe based on the steps that I did. Remember, a recipe has 3 parts. It has ingredients, it has measurements, and it has directions. The great part about this is super simple, super easy. It has strawberries, it has sugar, it has water, and it has Sure-Jell. That's all the ingredients that are in it. You're gonna write the recipe, and then you're gonna go to my website, and you will look under and you will upload it on Teams, or actually I'll give you some more information on that later. My challenge for you though is to try to make this at home. You're at home, you're cooped up anyway, plenty of strawberries, you probably have the sugar in your cabinet. If you can't make it, or maybe you're allergic to strawberries, then come up with some other ways besides what I've come up with that you can do that. Guys, until I see you again, happy cooking!